And a very good Friday morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Joe Benigno back with you again, the Oda Pain Podcast. Friday, December 12th, 2025, 2 weeks before Christmas. The Joe Benigno Oda Pain Podcast brought to you by Manscaped, by Carolina Resort Vacation, and by, of course, Anita Discount Tire. It's been a brutal week for the New York Mets and all us Met fans. I mean, uh, just disgraceful what we've seen happen. From the trading of Brandon Nimmo to letting Edwin Diaz walk basically for $3 million to the Dodgers, letting Pete Alonso go, not even offering him a contract. What a disgrace. And I tell you, I start with this, all right? You know how I feel about Stearns, the little genius, and this is all on him now. I mean, we're going to find out, and I've said this before, just how freaking smart he is, okay? Because he thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. Well, we're going to find out because this is all about David Stearns now. Let's be honest. But the real culprit here is the owner. I mean, let's be real. He's the real culprit. First of all, he hired this guy. That's number one. Number two, all I hear about is all this great money. Oh, Uncle Stevie and all his money. We all went crazy. We couldn't take the Wilpons anymore. We couldn't wait for them to leave. We all went crazy when Cohen got here, and we were all his great money. All right, and he did what he did with Verlander and Scherzer. Of course, that didn't work out. He spent the money on Soto. By the way, Stearns, let's be honest. On the Juan Soto signing, David Stearns has nothing to do with it. I mean, this was all on Cohen and his family, okay? Stearns didn't want to give anybody 15 years. Come on. He wouldn't give Ohtani 15 years if he was 20 years old. I mean, so let's tell it like it is with that. But let's be real now. Steve Cohen brought this guy here because he's a small market GM, and he is going to run the Mets like a small market team. This guy is more worried about his casinos, his Rembrandts, his Picassos, his Da Vincis, his Van Goghs. He's more worried about that, his gold toilets, than he is about his baseball team. How do you let iconic Mets, okay? Iconic Mets, and forget even Nimmo for a second. That's a disaster too. What a terrible trade. Just look at that trade. How is Marcus Semien at 35 years old, okay? Not even close to the offensive production that Brandon Nimmo gave you last year. How is he even close to being Nimmo as a player? It's not even close. And all of a sudden, this guy Simeon's the greatest defensive second baseman since Bill Mazeroski? Really? It's unbelievable. What a disgrace. But then to let the best closer in baseball, Edwin Diaz, walk basically for $3 million. So the Dodgers gave him 3 years and $69 million. The Mets offered him 3 and $66. Cohen couldn't jump in there and say, wait a minute, we're not letting this guy go. He couldn't have jumped in there and said, here's 4 years, $75 million. Why didn't he do that? Nah, he let the little genius do whatever the hell he wants. And then he lets Alonso walk. And look, we know Stearns never wanted him to begin with. The only reason they even signed him last year is because there was no market for Pete. Nobody was signing him. They got eviscerated at that fan fest in January, which I was at, and I got sick as a dog after it. But anyway, they eviscerated Stearns, right? Because you want the Pete sign, and this is after they signed Soto, right? It was unbelievable. And finally, Cohen had to relent, and they gave Pete basically a 1-year contract, and that was it. 1 year with an option for the second year, and everybody knew he was opting out. And I'll tell you, I think Pete wanted no part of Stearns. I really do. I think Pete, we love him, but Pete had it here. I really think that. He knew they didn't want him. He knew Stearns didn't want him, and he signed with a team that actually wanted him in the Orioles and gave him 5 years and $150 million. Let's be honest about it. You telling me Uncle Stevie couldn't afford that? Of course he could, or supposedly he could. And I'm going to tell you right now, don't be surprised. You hear all this stuff. Oh, Tyreek Skubal, they're debating on maybe, giving up the prospects for him and all of this. And you hear these guys, names like Kyle Tucker and Bellinger, these different guys, maybe, signing, I don't know, maybe a starting pitcher, Fran Bar, Valdez. They're not going to, let me tell you right now, get ready, Met fans. They're not going to do anything. You have already heard Stern say, oh, we got this great farm system. Would you really be surprised? Let's say they make one move for a starting pitcher, and it won't be Skubal because he's never given up all the prospects he's going to have to give up. I wouldn't be shocked if they do nothing. You're saying, what are you, nuts? No, I'm serious. I wouldn't be shocked if they decided to go to war this year with a starting rotation of Nolan McLean, the kid Jonah Tong, and Brandon Sproat, and maybe David Peterson, and I don't know, Manaea. Would you really, or not Manaea, but Holmes, one of those guys, Peterson, Manaea. Clay Holmes will be in a rotation. Would you really be surprised? Would that shock you? It wouldn't shock me. Would you be surprised if they don't sign a guy like Kyle Tucker, who's not even close to Pete Alonso, by the way, or Clay Bellinger, who's not even close to Kyle Tucker, by the way, right? Not even close. I know it's Clay. That's his father, whatever. But whatever the deal may be, right? Bellinger, you know who he is. I forget whatever his first name is. We know what you're talking about. And I think he's going to wind up with the Yankees. Cody Bellinger? Yeah, Cody Bellinger. Thank you.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. My wife knows better than me.
Oh, stop.
Anyway, Yankees going to wind up signing him. I'd be shocked if they don't. They're not going to do anything. You know what they're going to do? They're going to play. The outfield's going to be Soto and Wright, right? Soto and Wright. Probably wants to get rid of Soto, too. Soto and Wright. The kid Benj, whatever his name, Carson Benj in center, and Jet Williams in left. Would you really be surprised by that? With the infield being Beatty, Simeon at second, a combination of McNeil and Vientos at first, and I don't even know. I'm hearing things about, I heard my ex-partner say trade Lindor. Well, why are we going to trade Lindor now? And I heard him say to the Dodgers, great, give the Dodgers more because they don't have enough now.
Lindor?
Well, I've heard it. And I wouldn't be surprised because, the little asshole that he is, the little genius Stearns, please, And that's more money to be getting rid of. Just think about all the money that is not being spent on this team now. Think about it. Yeah, I know they gave 3 years and $51 million to that stiff Devin Williams. Oh, my God. I mean, can you believe that this guy is going to be the closer? I'm telling you, get ready, Met fans, that nothing gets done. Get ready. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm telling you, this guy is a small market general manager. The idea that he was some big Met fan growing up is bullshit, okay? Give me a break. You could care. All David Stearns cares about is David Stearns and showing you how smart he is. Well, we're going to find out how freaking smart he is. And I don't care what they do now. They could bring Skubal in. They could sign Tucker and Bellinger. They could do all of that, right? They could bring in another starting pitcher. They could trade for this guy, Peralta. He loves the Brewers. I've said this before. Maybe Robin Yount and Paul Molitor will come out of retirement to play for the Mets because he loves the damn Brewers so much. Mike Caldwell in the rotation. Prince Fielder at first base. What a disgrace. What a disgrace. But I'm telling you, you watch. He's not going to do anything. And Cohen isn't spending money. Think about it. What money? That's all I hear about. Oh, Steve Cohen, he's got all this money. Is he spending anything? Outside of this stiff Williams, have they signed anybody? Tell me about it. They actually save money. I know not maybe in the short term, but in the long term, they actually save money with Nimmo. What, about $30 million? Nimmo still owed $100 million. Simeon, I think, gets 70 yet. Really? So they save money there too. Are you starting to read the tea leaves a little bit? That maybe Uncle Stevie, right, with all his great money, isn't spending money. That he's brought in this guy to run the Mets like they're the goddamn Milwaukee Brewers. Think about it. Now, there's a long way to go. They could make a lot of signings. I could be completely wrong about that. But I don't know, man. I don't trust this. I don't trust David Stearns, and I don't trust Cohen either. Cohen's turning out to be a big fraud. We heard all this crap about him. We want to have consistent winning. We're going to win a championship in 5 years. I think this is year 5. They are farther away from a championship than they have ever been. They're not even close to the Dodgers right now. They got no shot against the Dodgers. They're not even close to the Phillies. The Braves are going to be better than the Mets. And maybe even the Marlins.
Oh, God.
Maybe even them. The second half of last year, Miami actually was a better team than the Mets were. They had a far better record over the second half of the year than the Mets did. And we all know what they did to them at the end of the year to keep them out of the playoffs. I'm disgusted, man. I really am. I am the most disgusted I have been as a Met fan. And I've seen it all. Pete Alonso and Edwin Diaz, they just, and you could put Nimmo in there if you want to. They just joined the long list of great Mets that were either traded away or were let walk, right? Right? And I don't even talk about Amos Otis and Nolan Ryan because we didn't know what Nolan Ryan was. But how bad, as you look back on it now, was the Nolan Ryan trade for Jim Fregosi? What would the Mets have been if they had kept Nolan Ryan into the 70s? If they had kept him on the team, and you had a rotation, think about this rotation the Mets would have had, right? Tom Seaver, Jerry Kuzman, John Matlack, and Nolan Ryan. Can you imagine that? You think they might have won more than they did? You think they might have won more than one championship and another trip to the World Series if they had kept Nolan Ryan in the rotation? And obviously, he was there for 3 or 4 years. He was huge out of the bullpen and helping him win the championship in '69. No doubt about it. No question. But with what Ryan turned out to be, how good would the you think the 1970s would have been a lot different if they would have kept Ryan? Anyway, and then of course if they didn't trade Seaver, and that was really the beginning of it. Trading Seaver for the 4 stiffs from Cincinnati, right? Really, yeah, that was the beginning of it. Then watching Frank Cashin, who I can't stand. Well, first of all, trading Rusty Staub, their best player, for an over-the-hill pitcher in Mickey Lolich in 1975. What was that thought process? What were they thinking about with that brutal trade? And then to see the 1986 team get completely dismantled by Frank Cashin. And I can't stand Frank Cashin, right? I didn't think there'd be a Met general manager I would dislike more than Frank Cashin. Well, David Stearns is now taken over, okay? David Stearns, the little genius from Harvard who's smarter than everybody, smartest guy in the world, he is taken over from that mantle. And you think about what Cashin did, right? He got rid of everybody. He traded Kevin Mitchell for that stiff Kevin McReynolds. I know McReynolds was a good player for the Mets, but he had no part of being here, okay? And Mitchell, of course, went on to be the MVP for the Giants in 1989. He had 47 homers, led him to the World Series and all of that. That was a great trade. He traded Lenny Dykstra, right? Lenny Dykstra and Roger McDowell for that stiff, right? Juan Samuel. How did that work out? Lenny Dykstra turned out was almost the MVP with the Phillies, led him to the World Series in 1993, right? I don't want to hear. Who cares about the steroids he was doing? Do I really care about that? That was a great trade, right? Not nice, good move there. Ray Knight wins the MVP award after in the World Series in 1986, and then Frank Cashin lets him walk, doesn't re-sign him. F you. Hey, thanks for nothing, Ray. See ya. And then of course, he eventually lets Darryl walk away. Remember the whole thing? Oh, Darryl Strawberry. Remember him going on TV that time, Cashin, and saying Darryl Strawberry, at the time it was a lot of money, was not a $5 million a year ball player? Really? Strawberry would be making $30 million a year now. I mean, let's be honest about it. And he lets him walk away to, of course, the freaking Dodgers, and what a disaster that turned out to be. And, of course, Darryl will be the first to tell you it was one of the biggest mistakes he ever made. But the Mets didn't want him. And then they turned around and they signed that, piece of crap Vince Coleman. Like Vince Coleman is going to replace Strawberry. Right? I mean, I could go on and on. Right? I mean, it's unbelievable what he did. He got rid of Ron Darling. He got rid of Mookie Wilson. Now on and on we go. How Frank Cashin destroyed the 86 championship team. The only saving grace for him, the only thing that kind of puts him a little ahead of the little genius is that Cashin actually won a World Series. Before he destroyed the team, at least they won a freaking World Series. How about trading David Cohn? How about that trade? Really? And I know Jeff Kent now, he turned out to be a Hall of Famer, and he finally got in. It's long overdue that he should be in. Maybe the greatest hitting second baseman of all time, this side of Rogers Hornsby. But it was never happening for Kent in New York. Never. I mean, really? Come on. For Steve what was it? What was the trade? Now Steve Henderson was the Mets. Was the Seaver trade? Who else did they get for him now for Cone? Right? Oh, Ryan Thompson. That's it. Ryan Thompson. Right? For one of the best pitchers, David Cone. We all know what he did when he got to the Yankees. And let's be honest, Cone should be in the Hall of Fame. And the Mets couldn't wait to get rid of him. Guy goes 20-3 on the '88 Mets that won 100 games, and they couldn't wait to dump him too. Right? What a disgrace. I mean, this is what this team has always done. They've done it. This is what they've constantly done. They let Jose Reyes walk after he wins the batting title. Couldn't wait to, see you, Jose. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. Right? They let Zach Wheeler go, right? Couldn't wait to let him go, and he turns out to go to Philadelphia and be the best pitcher in baseball. I know he's hurt now. And even DeGrom. And I didn't love DeGrom, I understand he won 2 Cy Youngs. I realize everybody went gaga over DeGrom, okay? And a lot of Met fans love DeGrom. What happened to him? He left too. He couldn't wait to run away and go to Texas, okay? And I understand. You want to leave New York to go live in Texas? I totally get it. But he was never going to stay here. So there's another guy that left. The only guy that didn't leave was David Wright. And give the Wilpons, say whatever you want about the Wilpons, give the Wilpons credit for signing David Wright. Give him credit. Even though it didn't work out, David got hurt. They signed him. Give him credit. Sandy Alderson. Sandy Alderson went out and made the trade for Cespedes. How'd that work out? Did we get to the World Series in 2015 without Cespedes? Do we? No. Let's be honest, we do not. As he went crazy that the second half of the season and really led us into the postseason. Daniel Murphy, right? Single-handedly is the dominant player in the playoffs, right? In 2015, right? And then you got Gary Cohen, and I don't want to get on here, start with him. Then you got Gary Cohen saying he was a net negative. He's not coming back. They let Murphy walk, and then Murphy goes to Washington and becomes like the best hitter in baseball. And when the Mets play him, they could never get him out. Of course. This is the Mets. This is what they always have done. And now you got the little genius that comes in, right? And he dumps Nimmo for this stiff Simeon, over-the-hill player in Simeon. And he lets the best closer in baseball, maybe the best closer in the history of the franchise, and, maybe the greatest everyday player the franchise has ever had, the all-time home run leader in the history of the Mets, he lets him walk away for nothing. Just lets him go. It's unbelievable. This is the history of this franchise. This is why this franchise never wins. Let's be honest about it. This is one of the big reasons why the Mets have only won 2 World Series since their existence in 1962. One of the big reasons that they never win. Why they've never been to the playoffs more than 2 years in a row. How many years in a row have the Yankees been to the playoffs? How many years in a row have the freaking Dodgers won the division now out there? How many years in a row? It's unbelievable. And the Mets are lucky to get 2 years in a row with the playoffs before it all goes to shit again. We're going to find out just how freaking smart this clown David Stearns is. And I tell you right now, I really believe, okay, that Alonso couldn't wait to get away from him. And maybe even Edwin Diaz too. They couldn't wait to get the hell away from David Stearns. We're going to find out how freaking smart David Stearns is. And I'm going to tell you right now, okay? I'm going to tell you right now. This team is nowhere near the playoffs. Is this another we're rebuilding again? Is that what we're doing? Hey, Steve, what about that 5-year plan? What about consistent winning? What about trying to be the Dodgers of the East, right? It's all bullshit, okay? And maybe Uncle Stevie doesn't have as much money as you think he does. Or if he does, he doesn't really want to put it in a baseball team. He made his big signing on Soto, okay? And Soto, who's protecting Soto in the lineup? Vientos? Alvarez? Who's that? Beatty? What? Give me a break. It's a joke. He's going to walk 200 times. Soto doesn't swing the bat as it is. And now, what is he going to walk 200 times because they're never going to pitch to him? What a disgrace. Boy, oh boy. We got sold the bill of goods by this freaking owner, and he's sticking it right up our ass. Let's be real. And I'm going to tell you, you can say whatever you want about the Wilpons. And as we all know, look, the Wilpons would have never signed Juan Soto. We know that. Never. Never, never, never. But you know what? The Wilpons would have realized what Pete Alonso means to this franchise and means to this fan base, and they would have signed Pete Alonso. Never signed Soto. They would have never done that. They would have signed Pete Alonso. But not this guy. You know, he's too worried about his Van Goghs and his gold toilets and his casinos. And remember who hired the little freaking genius who thinks he's smart, that smug look on his face. I'm smarter than you. You don't know nothing. What do you know? That's basically David Stearns. What a disgrace. Unbelievable, Met fans. Boy, have we got it stuck up our ass. Let's be real about it. Stuck up our ass. And I want to say this, too. How about the Yankees? Everybody, the Yankee fans all complain. You're in the playoffs every year. You say what you want. And you can get on Hal Steinbrenner and whatever you want. Do you think for a second that Hal Steinbrenner was ever going to let Aaron Judge go? Now, I'm not saying Pete Alonso's Aaron Judge. He's not. But as far as what he means to the franchise, yeah, it's the same thing. Steinbrenner would never let Judge go. Never.
Never, ever.
Never in a million years would he do that. And the Yankees are always say whatever you want about them. They're in the playoffs every year. Yankee fans complain. Playoffs every year. Oh, we haven't won since 2009. Well, you're in the playoffs every year. You've been in the playoffs more times since 2009 than the Mets have in their entire history. And you can go look it up. It's close. If I might be wrong, but I don't think so. I'm sick and tired, man. I'm telling you, man. We got so screwed. We got sold a bill of goods by this owner, and he stuck it right up our ass. At least we knew what we were getting from the Wilpons. We got bamboozled by Cohen. He's a freaking fraud. And he sits there with his Met hat on. He's there with his little Met. Oh, Mr. Met. Remember? He's sitting there at courtside at Knick playoff games, right? And, oh, look at me with my Met hat on. He's a fraud. Steve Cohen is a freaking fraud. Let's be real. Build those casinos, Steve. Don't keep Pete Alonso. It's on him. And again, I can't emphasize this enough. This now is all about the little genius. He's smarter than everybody. We're going to find out how freaking smart he is. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, wake me up if the Mets win a World Series with this guy as the president of the franchise. What a freaking disgrace. All right. The Oda Pain podcast. I'm sick and tired of talking about the Met thing. I got to do it again tomorrow morning from 5 to 7. Which I just need to get away from it for a while. I'm so goddamn disgusted. All right, let's get the sponsors in here. Great idea for Christmas, for the man in your life, whatever. The 2025 Male Holiday Performance Package 5.0 Ultra from Manscaped. Come on, guys. The holidays are here. It means it's time to give the gift of smoothness. And if I'm one thing, I'm a lot of things that I'm not. I'm certainly not good looking, right? I'm certainly not rich. I'm certainly not any of those things. But I'll tell you right now, I'm smooth. Now, whether you're shopping for your partner, your brother, or yourself, Manscaped Performance Package 5.0 Ultra is the ultimate upgrade because nothing says happy holidays like a perfectly groomed package, whether it's your face, whether it's the family jewels, whatever it may be. From trimming to freshening up, this is an all-in-one grooming kit. Keeps you clean, confident, ready for any festive occasion. Go ahead, unwrap confidence this season with Manscaped. And boy, do I know a lot of guys that need confidence, okay? If you could buy confidence, I know about 10 guys that need it that we could buy it for. But we'll leave that alone right now. Head over to manscaped.com. Join over the 13 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. Use code PAIN, P-A-I-N. I got a lot of that for 15% off your entire order. Love it. And don't forget, not only the great grooming you get from Manscaped, the performance package, the lawnmower 5.0, the whole deal. Don't forget the underwear. They're great. They keep you in. They keep your balls in place. It's phenomenal. Go out and, they got the shampoo and conditioner. You could even use it as a body wash. I love it. I smell good. My wife actually wants to touch me. I'm still trying to figure out why she wants to look at me, but nevertheless, one ugly son of a bitch. But go check it out. Check out Manscaped, the Performance Package 5.0. Use the code PAIN and get 15% off with the code PAIN. The best, no doubt about it. Now, if you're looking for a great place to go for a vacation, if you want to get out of New York or New Jersey, wherever you want to do, hey, I'll tell you the place to go, Carolina Resort Vacation. Plan your next getaway at North Myrtle Beach. It is phenomenal. Looking for the perfect vacation spot? Check out Carolina Resort Vacation, OBLV Unit 2, in beautiful North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. They got it all. 5 spacious bedrooms, each with a private en-suite bathroom, a fully stocked kitchen ready for family meals or group cooking nights, arcade-style gaming table with 150-plus classic games, smart TVs in every room, entertainment for everyone, steps from the beach and minutes from Barefoot Landing, mini golf, Ripley's Aquarium, the Myrtle Beach Boardwalk, all these stellar golf courses there. Oh, my God, I can't believe it. Oh, I miss playing golf, even it's only been a couple weeks. We got a long way to go till we get back out there again. The unit is freshly renovated, spotless, and spacious. Perfect for family trips, group getaways, or a relaxing retreat by the ocean. Now, whether you're soaking up the sun, exploring local attractions, just enjoying time together, OBLV Unit 2 Carolina Resort Vacation makes every trip unforgettable. Check it out, 843-249-6509. Visit CarolinaResortRealty.com. Learn more, start planning your trip today, 843-249-6509. And tell them that Benigno sent you. And then if you need work done on your car, you need tires, you need your car inspected, go to Anita Discount Tire. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Rivervale, New Jersey. Westwood, I love Rivervale. Westwood Avenue. Check it out. See Johnny, see Ari, see the whole group over there, and they will take care of whatever your automotive needs may be. Anita Discount Tire, Westwood Avenue, Rivervale, New Jersey. Now, couple things. Number one, is there a bigger joke than this NBA Cup going on? Okay? All right? Now, the Knicks are in it. They're in the semifinals of the NBA Cup. I think they play Orlando next. Ultimately, may play OKC, who's like 24-1 to start the season. But the Knicks, they're off to a tremendous start. They're 17-7. What have they won? Like 8 or 9 games in a row, something like that. They're 13-1 at home. They're playing great. And I don't want Giannis, by the way. Screw Giannis. I ain't giving up half my team for this guy. I like the team the way it is. But let's get back to the NBA Cup for a minute. So am I supposed to get excited if the Knicks win the NBA Cup? Are they going to put some phony banner up there like they won something? Am I supposed to care? Really? Really? Is this supposed to make the NBA regular season better? Tell me how. Why? Because they put these stupid, ridiculous-looking courts that you can't even see the game because the court is so, gaudy. I mean, that's supposed to get me excited? Really? What's in it for me as a Knicks fan, right? The only thing that matters to me as a Knicks fan now is winning an NBA championship. They haven't won one since 1973. We know what's going to happen, and I've said this a million times, right? They're going to win 50-something games this year. They're going to be in the playoffs. They're going to have a high seed. They're certainly going to have home court advantage in the first round, and then they got to win. And if they don't win an NBA title, I mean, getting to the finals isn't enough. And history tells me that somewhere along the way in the playoffs, the Knicks will have a brutal playoff loss, probably at home, and wind up getting eliminated. That's what it tells me. But getting back to this stupid NBA Cup, winning the NBA Cup means more money in the pockets of the players. I think the winning team gets like $500,000. The NBA players aren't overpaid enough. No, wait a minute. The NBA players aren't overpaid enough that they need more money with this NBA Cup? How about giving if the Knicks win the NBA Cup, how about giving every Knicks season ticket holder like $5,000 in their pocket?
Nah.
How about that? Make it what exactly as a fan are you getting out of the Knicks winning this stupid in-season NBA Cup? Tell me. What? What are you getting out of it? You're not getting an NBA title. You're not getting a parade. What are you getting? You're getting nothing. And they're making more money because they need it, because they're not making enough money, the NBA players, right? Seriously, Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart and Karl Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby and Deuce McBride. We go right on down the line, right? Jordan Carlson. These guys aren't making enough money, right? Mitchell Robinson. What's he making? $20 an hour? Come on. What a disgrace. And I'm supposed to get excited by that? And I've heard people actually say it's a good thing. What's so freaking good about it? Who gives a damn? Like I said, it's one thing. I just knocked somebody over. I don't know who's that. Was that Walton that went down?
Oh, God.
Was that Bill that went down? Bill Walton just went down.
He went down.
My wife's going to pick it up for me.
He's down and out.
Did he go up? I have his stat here. I'll show it to you in a
he's
second.
all right.
He's good. Here's my statue, the great Bill Walton, as a Portland Trailblazer.
He's hanging in.
The late great Bill Walton. Here
He's
he
hanging.
is. See, the late great Bill Walton. There he is. I had him in the front here, and he fell down. Okay, so Bill, we're going to put you back up. One of my all-time favorite players, the great Bill Walton. There he goes.
Right here.
Yeah, put him right there. Don't let him go down again.
I'm not going to let him go
I know
down.
you're not.
Watch out.
Yeah. This is what happens. That's what the Mets are doing to me. And then I start talking about the damn stupid NBA Cup. Really. Because the NBA players need more money. That's what they need. Tell me about it. Give me a break. What a joke. And I hope they don't win. I don't want to see them win because I don't want to see some dumb, because it means nothing. I don't want to see some dumb banner. Oh, we won the NBA Cup. Oh, great. Give me a break.
How about putting the money towards this charity?
Well, the money should go to the fans. I'm telling you right now. That's where the money should go. The money, every season ticket holder of the Knicks should get money if they win the cup. Don't give the players more money. They need more money to players. Give it to the people. Yeah, but they're never going to do that, you know. And basically, let's be honest, most of the season ticket holders for the Knicks are all multi-millionaires anyway, because how else could you afford the tickets? Let's be honest. So maybe they don't even need the damn money. You got to take a second mortgage out to go to a Knicks regular season game. I mean, come on. So anyway, so that's my story on the NBA Cup. Now, the NFL this weekend, the Jets have no shot. You know, the Jets are at a point now where they're just. I almost knocked Walton down again. Where the Jets are at a point now where they basically are just better off losing out the rest of the way. Maybe they can get their quarterback. See, the best thing for me now is the Jets being able to draft their quarterback without having to give up any draft capital at all. So the lower they fall, the better off they are. They got 4 games left. Brady Cook is starting this week. Please, give me a break. All right? Justin Fields is shot. He's done here. You know that. That was a disaster. Great move there by Glenn. Whatever. And Tyrod Taylor, I like him a lot, but he's like tissue paper. He's hurt all the time. You just can't count on him. He gets hurt walking down the street, Tyrod Taylor. But anyway, the Jets have 4 games left. In Jacksonville this week against the red-hot first place in the AFC South Jaguars. Then they play the Saints in New Orleans in a game that, look, the Saints are playing much better. I mean, they come off that win last week. They beat Tampa. How about Tampa lost to Atlanta last night? What the hell happened to the Bucs? Oh, my God. Like, they're in free fall now. It's unbelievable. Anyway, the Saints have beaten the 2 best teams in their division. They've beaten Carolina and Tampa, both on the road. So I don't know if the Jets have beaten them. And maybe they don't need a quarterback now. Maybe this quarterback's playing for them, and that's a good thing. Because maybe they won't draft a quarterback either. And then after New Orleans, they play the Patriots at home. That should be a rip-roarer. There'll be 50,000 Patriot fans in the building. Yeah. And then they end the season in Buffalo against the Bills, who will annihilate them. So the chances are very good the Jets don't win again, and they're going to finish 3-14 for the season. And we'll see where the draft pick falls. But they got to get it done, man. They got to get a quarterback. And I don't want Joe Burrow. You know, I've heard there's this thing out there, and a bunch of my fellow Jet fans, right? You want Joe? You really want this guy? You really want him? Gets hurt all the time. Joe Burrow's always freaking injured. Let's start with that, okay? And I'm hearing he wants out of Cincinnati, whatever. Well, I'm going to give 3 number 1 picks for this guy? I ain't doing that. I wouldn't do that. I want my own quarterback. Go draft Fernando Mendoza. Go get him. You know? And if you don't think he's the guy, you know, draft for the needs, whatever. And later on in the first round, and maybe even in the second round, you could get Diego Pavia from Vanderbilt, who, for my money, should win the Heisman Trophy. Mendoza's going to win it. That's tomorrow. Mendoza's going to win it. But I'm telling you, the best player in the country, as far as I'm concerned, this year was Diego Pavia. You know, in the SEC, against the top competition there was, he went 10-2. Their 2 losses were to Alabama and Texas. And the Texas game in Austin, they were way behind, almost came back to pull the game out. They wound up losing by 3 points, 34-31. To me, he should be the Heisman Trophy winner, not Mendoza. But I think Mendoza's going to win it. But I would take my chances with him. I really would. I really would. But if you think, if Darren Muji thinks Mendoza's the guy, then you move heaven and earth to get up and get him. But I don't want Joe Burrow. I don't want him. You'll be going nuts when he comes to the Jets and gets hurt like he always does. And look, the track record of the Jets bringing in veteran quarterbacks has not been good, okay? Outside of Vinny Testaverde, okay, that worked out. Every other one has not, whether it was Boomer Esiason, whether it was Neil O'Donnell, whether it was Brett Favre, whether it was Aaron Rodgers. None of them worked out. I want my own freaking quarterback. That's it. Case closed as far as that goes with me. I don't want Joe Burrow. All right, let me get my picks in here. I've been terrible. What a brutal year I've had picking game. No, really. I'm thinking about retiring after this year. I told JJ I think this is the last year I'm doing this. I've been just terrible. I don't know with him. I don't know if I'm going to do it anymore. But anyway, let me throw my picks in here. Here we go. For week. What the hell week are we into? 15, 16? I think we're into 15. No, 14. Because we got 3 weeks after this. So this is week 14. Right? 15. Yeah, okay. So, no, this is week 15 because we actually have 18 weeks. That's right. We got 18 weeks with 17. Everybody gets one bye. So it's actually an 18-week season. All right. So it's actually week 15 is where we are with 4 games to go. Here's the picks for Benigno. I'm taking the Giants laying 2 at home against Washington. Washington stinks. Marcus Mariota's the quarterback. They're not any good. They had a real good game a couple weeks ago where they took Denver to the nub and wound up losing to them anyway at home. Give me the Giants. Dart is going to play. I think the Giants might win a couple games before the year's over. This game, and maybe they'll beat the Raiders in a couple weeks in Vegas because the Raiders are absolutely horrible. So give me the Giants laying the 2 at home against Washington. Game 2, I'm taking Buffalo laying 1 against New England. Let me just say it this way. The door is wide open for the Buffalo Bills to finally get to the Super Bowl. Wide open. It looks like KC's not making it. It looks like the Ravens aren't going to make it. Right now, the number 1 seed is New England. They need to go in. Remember, New England beat them already in Buffalo. They need to go into New England and beat up the Patriots. I think if the Bills are going to get to the Super Bowl, they need to win this game. If New England wins this game, I think New England's going back. I hate to say this. I mean, and I hate both teams, but I hate the Patriots more. I think the Patriots may be on their way to the bowl. I don't think it's crazy to say. Who's better, Denver? Jacksonville? Houston? Tell me. No, this is it for Buffalo. Buffalo, this is their year to get to the Super Bowl. It really is, okay? Give me the Bills. Huge game for Buffalo. Give me the Bills laying 1 on the road in Foxborough to end that hideous 10-game winning streak that the Patriots are on. But I'm telling you right now, if Buffalo loses this game, I think New England's going to the Super Bowl. I really do. I need Buffalo and Josh Allen and company to step up and lay the wood to New England on Sunday. That's game 2. Game 3, I'm laying big number. I'm laying 12.5 on the 49ers at home against the Titans. The Titans won their game last week, beat Cleveland to win their second game of the year. They're not winning this game. The 49ers are right in the playoff hunt. They're 9-4. They still got a shot to win the division when all is said and done. I don't think they will. I think the Rams will. And, of course, you got the Seahawks there as well. But the Niners are going to make the playoffs. You're only laying 12.5. They're going to blow the doors off the Titans. So give me the Niners laying the 12.5 at home in Santa Clara against Tennessee. So the Benigno picks again. Give me the Giants laying 2 at home against Washington. Give me the Bills on the road laying a point against the Patriots. Give me the Niners at home laying 12.5 against Tennessee. The Benigno Pro Football picks for week 15 in the NFL. All right, everybody have a tremendous weekend. Check me out tomorrow for my wonderful 2-hour show on WFAN, where I will continue to eviscerate Steve Cohen and David Stearns. I will continue to do that, and everybody enjoy it. God bless America. All the love, everybody. Check me out tomorrow on The Fan.